we've been talking about Cooper Flagg over the last, several weeks, obviously, but this week especially. And, I mentioned this yesterday. Before we get in all the dissecting and breaking down who did what, who shouldn't have did this, this will be kind of the last time I say it. And then after that, we'll just be hard on them for the rest of all these guys' careers. Again, after last night, one more time, congratulations to all the young men who got drafted. Amazing moment for them. Again, I say they worked their entire lives to get there. And they're in a position that such a low percentage of humans can be. Really, not even, we always like to tie that to any sport. Only 1%. In any sport. There's a lot of people who say, man, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be that, and never go through with it. So for them to actually be able to fulfill their dreams, a big congratulations to them.
Oh, yeah, big fact. I mean, just a couple days ago, Martin Weiss sitting on this chair. We were talking during one of the commercial breaks about, because you played high-level high school ball. A lot of guys you played with either played in college, played in the NBA. So we're just talking. What is the percentage of people who play in high school ended up playing at a high-level Division I? You're like maybe 15%?
Yeah.
10%?
About that, yeah.
How much of those guys play in the NBA?
What, 0.1% maybe?
So just think about that.
It's crazy.
Right.
And to be there and to get drafted, and in the NBA draft, by the way, it's not the MLB draft, which there's like, Steve, how many rounds are MLB draft? 78? So it's like 78 rounds, and you get... he is the guy. They just drafted this kid in the 49th round of the MLB. Like 49, but the NBA is only 2. Yep. And we already know that only a handful of those guys are really going to make an impact and really be in the league. So it's just an amazing accomplishment. So I don't ever want to belittle that or diminish that. So congrats to them. With that being said, though, Cooper Flagg now is the guy for the Mavericks, which I don't know if Nico Harrison is the luckiest man on earth, the most well-informed man on earth, meaning like, hey, man, do what you need to do. Don't worry about it. We got you.
We'll take care of it.
We'll take care of it. You get the number 1 pick. You know how we do. You saw what happened with Zion. You saw what happened when LeBron left. They got Kyrie. Yep. You saw what happened when AD left and they got Zion. It just, going down the line. So I don't know if he's well-informed or the luckiest man, but here we are. The Cavs have the number 1 pick. And the thing that he said, Nico Harrison, which was interesting, is the 2 timelines. This is almost like, what movie was that? Looper? You ever seen Looper?
No, I never seen Looper.
Ian, you saw Looper, right? Alex?
Nah.
No, you ain't seen it. You saw Looper? Okay. Bruce Willis, and what's the other guy? The young kid who played him? Lovett, Hewitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah, him. So it's like in the future, but in the past, but in the real time, then they both come together, and then you see the past with him. Okay. And the real, it's confusing. Right. And that's what Nico Harrison is operating around. He is playing Looper, where he says, we're going to be good now. We're going to win now. We're going to win in the future. And I said this yesterday. I buy what he's trying to sell me on paper, because if I just listed the guys, you'd be like, ooh, that's a nice roster. If you just woke up from a coma and I said, hey, man, here's a video of this kid who's been playing. His name's Cooper Flagg. You see the video, but, ooh, he looks nice. And I said, AD, first ballot Hall of Famer. You know what he does on both ends of the floor. You go, oh, nice. Kyrie Irving. First ballot Hall of Famer, you know what he does. You say, ooh. Then I go on to some young guys, Lively and Gafford and Klay Thompson and some other people they have coming up. PJ Washington, really nice player. You like what you see on paper. My thing is, number one, Kyrie Irving isn't playing right now. Kyrie Irving might not play until late February, could be later on in the spring. And he's older, coming off a serious injury, and you're banking on him being able to play with another guy who's older, who was often injured in AD.
Right.
So to me, the win now is kind of like, if you say so, everybody has to be injury-free, and that team is injury-prone, including Klay Thompson. And also, you're going to be banking on a rookie who I think is going to be good, but going to also be finding his sea legs in the NBA. So I don't buy necessarily the win now as much as, obviously, Nico Harrison does. But he has to sell something to the fan base. Mm-hmm. He has to get them energized. And again, that's his job to be trying to win now. But we would be worried about the way they're constructed, which is why I was so hard on him trading Luka, is that you only got older with Anthony Davis. You paired Anthony Davis with a Kyrie who's got injured. And guess what happened last year? Anthony Davis gets injured the first game he's back. A little bit later on in the season, Kyrie Irving gets injured. Yep. So to me, and you sat here, how many times I was saying that? How many times I say, you got two guys who are often injured. Boom, both of them get injured in the same year. So that had been my concern. But there's other points that you can point to about Cooper Flagg that even Jason Kidd said that we'll get to in a minute. But your thoughts on the two timelines, the looper of it all, as I'm calling it.
It's just not realistic. And the most recent example we've seen of this is the Golden State Warriors. And people say, hey, well, they won a championship in 2022. What do you mean it didn't work? If you watch that team, they fell ass backwards into it. They tried so hard to say, James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody. We're going to build those guys while also being in contention with Steph, Clay, and Dre. When that run took off, none of those three guys were important, the young guys. It was the old wily vets. Jordan Poole was a revelation. Nobody was expecting anything from him when they drafted him late in the first round.
Heavy on the was.
And yeah, exactly. And Andrew Wiggins finally realized his full potential. He only had it for one season, but he realized it. And you could argue he was their second best player during that playoff run. Mm-hmm. And the problem that you run into with those two situations is you have the wily vets, and this is going to be Anthony Davis, who has a ring, so he knows that he wants one more than probably any of these guys want their first one. Klay Thompson, who is hell-bent on proving that Golden State made a mistake by lowballing him in a contract offer. Kyrie Irving reportedly is going to try to rush back as soon as possible. Whether that's, smart on his terms, short and long term, I don't know. But he wants to come back and win right away. How on earth are you going to be able to satisfy all three of these guys and still do what Jason Kidd just said earlier today during the press conference? Let Cooper Flagg make mistakes. Let Cooper Flagg develop on the fly, where he mentioned, and we'll play this out here in a second. Yeah, turn the ball over. I don't care. I need you to do that. We're going to put the ball in your hands and let you pass to the wrong guy, make the wrong read, throw the wrong pass. Like, you can't have both, because inevitably, when you get to April, May, and June in the postseason, because I think they're going to be in the playoffs, Cooper Flagg's not going to be allowed to make those kind of mistakes anymore. You can't say, hey, Coop, you're going to be our new Giannis, you're our new point guard while Kyrie's down. Do what you got to do. Well, you can't do it in the Western Conference, because if you trick things around, you're no longer a top 6 seed. Now you're in 9, 10, 11. And then what?
By the way, I don't mind the play-in. I don't like the 7th seed being in the play-in. Meaning, I get the 8. You're the last of something. If you're the last of something, so then you were close to not even making it. Okay, great. Let's have the 8, 9, and it makes it fun, right? Ooh, it's exciting to play in. I'm okay with that. I don't like the 7th seed, especially in the Western Conference, because the 7th seed, you might be 10 games above 500, and you're like, man, I could not make the postseason. We've seen that happen before. I believe the Warriors happened to them once, or they got into play-in and lost to the Lakers, I believe it was. Like, I've never been a fan of that portion.
The play-in worked, what was it, during the bubble year, where they said, hey, if you're within 6 games of the 8 seed, we only got 10 games left in the season? Sure. But now you had a last season, I think, in the Eastern Conference, where 11 and 12 were like 13 games back of the 8 seed, and they got a shot.
And we got a shot. And then once we get in the tournament, you never know. Exactly. It's like, no, I know. You guys suck, and you shouldn't even have an option and a chance to be in this at that. So, all right, I want to let's play this sound real quick. You mentioned Jason Kidd, one of the great point guards of all time, looking at Cooper Flagg as maybe a taller point guard. Let's hear what he had to say about that.
I want to put him at the point guard. I want to make him uncomfortable. And see how he reacts, being able to run the show, being able to play the 2, play the 3. He's comfortable playing that, but we want to push, and I think he's going to respond in a positive way. It's all right to fail. It's all right to turn the ball over. We've talked about that. Just understanding the guys that I've been around that have been young, from Giannis, giving him the ball, and he failed. But he wanted to come back and have the ball. So I'm excited about giving him the ball against the Lakers and see what happens.
What will happen, Rob?
I'll tell you what's going to happen. He's going to have a real problem on his hands, because if you look at that roster in Dallas, they got 7 legitimate front court options that would play on a decent team, right? Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, P.J. Washington, Najee Marshall, and what's the other guy from Miami? Caleb Martin.
Yeah.
Every one of those guys, you can argue, should get a minimum 15 to 20 minutes on an average NBA team. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to have a real difficult situation in Dallas, where you're going to allow Cooper Flagg to develop the way you want him to develop, while keeping that 2 timeline track, when you have, I could argue right now, at least 3 or 4 guys who deserve minutes at the front court positions ahead of him. So unless they decide, Cooper Flagg, you are our small forward, moving forward, point blank period. Anthony Davis, I know you don't like playing center. You are our 5. Cooper Flagg is our 4. That's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to maximize this team right now. That's how we're going to maximize our Cooper Flagg timeline. And unless they do that, I don't know if we're even going to see Cooper Flagg reach his full potential, much less the team.
So I actually disagree with you, Rob G. Our first disagreement. Because I think what he's trying to create is not that he's a point guard in the sense of Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, a traditional point guard. I think what he is looking at success over the last 10, 15 years. If you look at the Warriors when they were winning, everybody always says, Steph Curry, the greatest point. Because Steph Curry's not a point guard. Stop it. Steph Curry's a combo guard.
Right.
Steph Curry, for the first run, the first 7, 8 years, didn't even bring the ball up. You know who brought the ball up? Andre Iguodala.
Yep.
Leonardo Barbosa.
Sean Livingston.
Draymond Green. Those are a bunch of other guys brought the ball up for him. And so where I think where he's going with this is, I think he's saying, I don't need you to be me, Steve Nash, Chris Paul, some of the greats. What I do need is in this current NBA, guys are out. Pascal Siakam gets the ball, he can go. He can be on the break. And I think he's looking at the successful teams. If you look at the Thunder, SGA doesn't have to stop the whole entire game to go get the ball. And I'm going to tell you a team it doesn't work for. The Lakers. What happens? LeBron has to stop, come get the ball, pre-Luka.
Right.
It always had to be him, right?
Yep.
LeBron, run. You still run like a freight train. Just go. Go. But he has to hold on, wait. You know, he has to do his little hand wipe on his jersey. Let me get the ball. Let me take it up slowly. I think Jason Kidd wants this to be like the Bulls of the 90s. Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, all these guys can get the ball and bring it up and go. The Warriors are their run. All these guys can get the ball and go. The Thunder, SGA, Wallace, it can be Caruso, J-Dub, anybody, even Chet. Get the ball and go. And I think that's what he's trying to create so that they can get some better pacing. They don't have to always have a set. And I think also knowing Kyrie, your best ball handler, is not going to be back for some time.
Right.
I need as many people making good decisions and being able to control a break and get stuff going. So that's what I think he's trying to create, is he's looking at the current NBA, whether it be the Houston Rockets as well. This current NBA, the Pacers, think about it. It's like 6 guys who can bring the ball up. And I think he's saying the Pistons even had that, just go. It doesn't have to be traditional early, mid-2000s. The early 90s were like 1 or 2 guys. That's it. You literally get a rebound from the 4 or the 5. Traditional, where's my point guard? Here you go. You have to. Now I run down. He's saying bring it down, go, go, go. Pacing, keeping the defense on their heels. So I think that's what Jason Kidd is trying to create. And part of that will be Cooper Flagg is going to be athletic. He's going to get you 6 to 8 rebounds. I don't want you to have to think all the time. Find somebody. Just go. And I think he's trying to create that mindset for him. Dude, you don't have to wait and it's not my time. It's not my possession. No, go create, get something. If it's there, it's there. And that's how you get those Pascal Siakam easy buckets sometimes. I ain't got to draw a play for you. It just happened in transition. You made a play. You made the right decision.
I would agree with you if their roster wasn't built with 4 centers and 5 power forwards. Because who on their team, in that you bring Pascal Siakam and the Pacers, almost everybody on their team, save for Miles Turner and their backup center, Thomas Bryant, former Laker, is capable of doing something like that. If you look at Dallas, assuming Kyrie doesn't come back for a while, I don't even Spencer Dinwiddie has a contract right now. Mm-hmm. It's Max Christie, it's Klay Thompson, it's Anthony Davis, it's Daniel Gafford. Like, none of those guys are known as creators. So what I think that they would be best served, assuming they're serious about trying to win now, and they really want to get this done and really go for this 2 timeline thing, is consolidate your roster. You don't need to have 3 centers. You don't need to have 7 guys competing for 2 spots. So unless they're playing this 3D chess game that they kind of fell ass backwards into with the whole draft pick situation. And I just think they're going to find themselves they have enough talent where they'll be good, but it's just such a murky situation for them. I don't think it's working out.
I get what you're saying, and that's the good thing to me, though, of having all those bodies, because what do the Lakers need? Size.
I bet you they don't trade with them again, though.
But I know. At that point, it would be the Dallas Lakers. But I'm using it as an example of some teams still need some size. And, hey, if I got something that's in demand, I can supply it, then I'm up right now.